Asmadgurubhyo namaha, Asmadparamaguruਭ్యో namaha. Oh, there is some problem here. You okay now? Asmadgurubhyo namaha, Asmadparamaguruਭ్యో namaha, Asmadsarvagurubhyo namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane namaha, Shri Lakshmi Harvadana Parabrahmane namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay, without much delay, I'll start the class. Let me share my screen. Oops, I don't know, something wrong here. I guess you can see my screen. Can you see my screen and can you hear me properly?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Good.
both.
So what we do is we'll continue the views of Sampatangar on Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, which is a prerequisite to study Kena-Upaniṣad according to him. Okay? I will give you a small overview since it has been a while. A simple overview of what did we cover in the last 3 classes. It's important to understand and focus about these things. Science and philosophy both use reason, intuition, and revelation. Right? Reason is you reason out things, you do what is reasonable, and then intuition, you get some kind of internal understanding, and you almost sometimes you get an aha moment and you realize something. But in the Hindu thought, the Adhyātma yoga is built into the culture. There is something because it is not finding some object outside you. To find some object outside you, reason, revelation, intuition, all will help. That is scientific view. But if you want to find out about yourself, you can know only, ordinary people can know only about ourselves. Nothing more. Other than that, what you see is matter. You can say, no, in the temple, God is not matter, temple Murti is not matter. That is a belief system. And if you strongly believe in it, that's right. It's not wrong. But what do you call, it is not, it is for the ordinary person, it doesn't appear like that. Okay. So one has to go within and find out who that person is. And that is Adhyātma yoga. And what is the spirit hiding inside us, and what is powering that spirit, that is all Adhyātma yoga. So what does it mean? You see outside, it is science. Whatever you see outside and learn about outside, all these missiles and that, and space weapons, AI and all, they're all science. What you see inside about yourself, that becomes Adhyātma yoga. And that is built in our tradition. Okay. Now, for seeing inside, you need some guidance. Even for seeing outside, to make an atom bomb or something like that, you need scientists to help you, right? So science also requires guidance from people. To see within, inside also, you need Upadesha. What is this Upadesha? Any guru can give you Upadesha? No. So many rishis over thousands of years and many yugas have practiced, perfected, understood the problems and advantages and the right methods. And a guru should be able to understand all those methods. Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtam, a proper guru, you have to find out. And using that guru's vast knowledge, just not on Shastras, but practical knowledge of realization, then you can get methods to follow. Then you can go in within and experiment and find out who you are. And that is Adhyātma yoga. So you also need the gift from God. Nothing moves if you don't have Paramātma's mercy and support. So only yogis who follow all these methods and get the guidance and blessing of Lord Krishna, they will go inside and find out who they are, the nature of self, and the nature of Paramātmā, who supports and energizes and makes the self work and makes everything in this universe work. So that is the idea of Adhyātma Yoga. Now, we'll see it, we'll take a quick tour of Ramanuja.org's understanding of Gita and how the realization goes from step by step by step as given in the Gita Bhashya. First, one has to realize the Jīvātmā within. Matter is outside. Arjuna asks Krishna, and Krishna gives the idea of second chapter, or the essence of second chapter to Arjuna, saying that there is a self which is different from matter. And then the self, if you focus on self, slowly you may see it. That is Atma Avalokana, or just seeing, sight of self. If you go deeper, you will get Atma Anubhava, realization of self. And slowly, by sixth chapter, Krishna says, you see Paramātmā, which is similar to Jīvātmā. Then you see Paramātmā as something very distinct. And everybody seemed to be supported by Paramātmā. So the thing is, everything can be seen within Paramātmā. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. All these verses are there in the sixth chapter. Eventually, using the help of Paramātmā, one says, okay, I want to understand this highest of all, that is Paramātmā. So even to understand Paramātmā, one may have different viewpoints. That is, one may want only Kaivalya. I don't want to do anything with Paramātmā. I don't want to do anything with matter. I want to be alone myself. Leave me alone. That is Kaivalya. One may want to have Aiśvarya, like I want to have the wealth of the Creator. So Aishwaryarthi, he may turn, the aspirant may turn out to be Aishwaryarthi. But finally, there may be a bhakta. All that person wants is to be constantly with Paramātmā. So bhakta goes through the path of Bhakti-yoga. Aishwaryarthi and Kaivalyarthi have separate paths, as explained in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gītā. So Bhakti-yoga goes towards understanding Paramātmā. And while that person having the blessings of Paramātmā constantly realizes Paramātmā in different stages, initially that person attains Parabhakti Darshana. Darshana means the sight of the Lord. Then Parajnana, the person goes deeper and meets the Lord. Then Paramabhakti, the person is constantly with the Lord, Krishna, constantly with Vishnu, but the person is afraid that, oh my God, what if Krishna goes away from my vision? The feeling of separation, that is Paramabhakti. So these are stages explained in the Bhagavad Gītā. Obviously, Bhagavata and other Puranas may go into deeper aspects of bhakti, love in different forms. Alvars have also sung Naika, Bhava and other aspects of relationship with Paramātmā. But in Naika, Bhava and other things are not dealt with in the Bhagavad Gītā. Okay. So here we talked about earlier, what is the difference between Samadhi and finding Lord as also a personal Supreme Godhead. Right? So I think the Bhakti Yoga takes that position of trying to understand and realize that personal Supreme Godhead. And Samadhi stops somewhere in a particular level where the person doesn't know the difference, that is, cannot differentiate between seer, seen, and the object of sight. And we talked about, some may think that Samadhi is the highest, but Ramanuja.org thinks that beyond that Samadhi is the realization of Paramātmā. This kind of counter arguments about what is highest, what is not highest, it can go on forever. But this is just a summary of Ramanuja.org's view. Wait a minute. So coming back to the continuation of the introduction to the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad is mentioned in the Karma-kāṇḍa itself. Vajasaniya Samhita, at the end of Karma-kāṇḍa, Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad is mentioned. So, who is the qualified student to understand Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad? That is the question which comes up. So, what is this Karma-kāṇḍa? In the Vedas, the performance of complex sacrifices like Somayaga, Agnishtoma-yaga, and other things are there. And that requires a team of priests. Why? Why do you require a team of priests? Because there are specific activities which need to be done. And because they are invoking the deities using the mantras. And what is the purpose of this Karma-kāṇḍa? Somebody may have a particular goal. Even the great Dasharatha performed a yaga called Putrakameshti yaga. Putrakameshti is, he did not have a son. So Dasharatha said, I will ask the great sages to come and help me out to get a powerful son. So he did Putrakameshti yaga and he got 4 children, right? So the thing is, this, and that Putrakameshti yaga cannot be done by anybody. He had to find a person capable, team members of the yaga. In the Rig Veda, there are several 4 type of people are required for a yaga. Hotṛ, that is Hotṛ is one. The second one is Adhvaryu, and the third one is Udgātṛ, and Brahman, Brahma or Brahmana, Brahman, that is what it says. Brahman is the 4th one. There are 4 different type of people you want. They are superintendents of the yaga. So what does the Hotṛ do? The Hotṛ do, what does Hotṛ should know the Rig Veda. So they should master the Rig Veda Samhita, not just the mantras, but they should know how to invoke the Devatās. It is a practical knowledge, not just, I finished Rig Veda, I went to a school run by this, Kanchikama Koti Peetham. They were teaching Rig Veda for me. I went there for 7 years and I learned the entire Rig Veda, all the 10,000 hymns, whatever you can see. It is just not rote by hearting. It is much more than that. You get a connectivity with the Devatās and then praising them. So the thing is, pronunciation and accent is phonetics, the right pronunciation and understanding, that is one aspect of it. Ritual knowledge, that means, how is this being used, right? And also the Rig Veda, the several Brahmanas are there, their sections. Aitareya Brahmana, Kaushitiki Brahmana, all this, the meaning of these Brahmanas one should know. So a Hotṛ should be an expert in Rig Veda. He is the invoker. Primary role is to recite the hymns of the Rig Veda, to invite the gods, the Devatās to the sacrifice and praise them. First, make them come nearby, right? As I told you, Mīmāmsa is the Shastra where there is a connection between Devatās and human beings. And that connection can be had through these yajnas. Nowadays, this has become a dead science in a way. Hardly anybody does any yajna. Okay? So why not give up all yajnas? This question I want you to think. I will answer a little later. Now, the second person needed is Adhvaryu. Who is the Adhvaryu? Adhvaryu, what he does is, Adhvaryu should be an expert in Yajurveda, both Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. And Yajurveda Samhita, he should know all the mantras. And also physical actions, that is prayoga, the methodology in the sacrifice. Okay. So the ritualistic details, kalpa details are there. How is the yajna kunda made? What is the geometry of the yajna sacrificial fire altar and things like that. They should know. Measurement, construction of the altar, preparation of all the offerings and things like that. Everything the person should know. timing, sequence, everything that person should know. So, they should also know the Yajurvedic Brahmanas like the Shatapatha Brahmana, Shukla Yajurveda, Taittiriya Brahmana, or Krishna Yajurveda, all these things. So, the role of the Adhvaryu is the executor, implementer of the sacrifice. The person is responsible for all physical activities and the pros mantras, and they move around mostly during a yajna doing all these things. They're active people. That is Adhvaryu. Now comes the next person, Udgātṛ. We are all talking about this with a purpose. Why is this important? Because I'm going to come back to the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad introduction to figure out why is this being said. So the Udgātṛ should be a knower of Samaveda. So Samaveda Samhita they should know, and also the swaras, the melodies of the Sama singing. The person should be a master vocalist, musical notation and chanting styles. All these things the person should know. The Brahmanas, that is the detailed mantras, all these things, the Tandya Brahmana, Brahmana, Panchavimsha Brahmana, Jaiminiya Brahmana, these are all different Brahmanas of the Samavedas. They should know. So the role of the Udgātṛ is chanter. His role is to sing the samans at specific junctures of the sacrifice, particularly during Soma liberation, that is Soma Yaga, to please the deities and create the sacred atmosphere. And the person is often assisted by other priests like the Prastota, Pratiharta. These are more details. Okay. So the thing is, that is Udgātṛ. Now, Brahman is the manager kind of a person. He knows, he should know pretty much all these things. He doesn't talk too much. He should also know Atharva Veda, but more importantly, he should know Triveda. Triveda means Rigyajus Sama. The person should know. So he should be all-knowing person in a way. So Brahman is not an ordinary person. A very capable person should come there, right? Hymns of Atharva Veda, ritualing, deep understanding of the whole sacrificial procedure, and also the expiatory rites. If something goes wrong, the person should know how to correct it. And mental alertness. All these things are important in a Brahmana. So he is the supervisor, chief priest, and he oversees all actions of the yajna. Okay. So why is this is not just mechanical ritualism. Okay, Karma-kāṇḍa is boring. You do that, you get some ghee, pour it into the fire, light up the fire, do things. It's just not that. It is a direct connectivity to the deities, using yajna as a tool. So knowing ya evam Veda, it says, that means who knows this? That person should know pretty much everything about it in detail, in realization. So why are we mentioning this? So the thing is, after a student studies in the school learning Vedadhyayana, the person should know how to become a Udgātṛ or Adhvaryu or somebody within that yajna, or else he will not have a job. He has to find a job after finishing school. And the capability is not just learning and getting a first rank by actually repeating over and over again exactly with the same intonation all these mantras. The modern people think that Adhyayana means he knows by heart the entire, Gharapata and everything. He doesn't even look at the book. That's not sufficient. So where is this mentioned? Sampath mentions that, look, one should understand what is this Udgīthopāsanā in the Chandogya Upanishad. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the very beginning, Udgīthopāsanā is said. So there is a specific qualification for the Udgātṛ. The person should know Upāsanā on Brahma. They should know Upāsanā means meditation on Brahma. The person should also know how to get blessings. That is, if that person blesses the Yajamana or the sacrificer may have some goal. like, I need to have the best child on earth or something, like how Dasharatha had. And the Yajna, Vasishtha and Mamadeva, so many people were there, right? The priest there should be able to bless that person to get really the child of what that person wants, what kind of child that person wants, or going to heaven, or any kind of fruit which is expected by the Yajamana. So the person who is active in the Karma-kāṇḍa not only by heart things, but he should have connectivity to the Devatās. He should have the blessings of the Devatās and power to bless. When you say power to bless, he is blessing that sacrificer to get the fruits through the Devatās. Unless this person has activity, he would not be capable. Why is this? So, blessing is not mere wish. Oh, I bless you, you'll have good things. After all, that person has a lot of problems in life. It's not blessing. That means the person who is blessing does not have the capability to bless. So one has to have at a higher level. The Udgīthopāsanā will deals with all those things, right? What is this Udgīthopāsanā? 1 second, my internet is unstable. I'm just going to check what is happening there. 1 second. Oh, no wonder. It goes into some weird. Were you able to hear me till now?
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Yes, we are hearing you properly.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. My internet was connected to something else. Luckily, it's okay.
Some
So,
disturbance in between.
What did you say?
There was some disturbance in between. Now it is fine.
No, it is fine. Okay, I forgot to connect with the right Wi-Fi. Now I connected. Okay. So Udgīthopāsanā is a bridge. What does Udgītā means? All the Vedas, the essence of all the three Vedas is in Samaveda. The essence of Samaveda is in this Omkara, and that is known as Udgītā. And what is that? See, we are going to go a little bit about this Udgīthopāsanā because that will give you the background to understand what this Karma-kāṇḍa is and who are the capable people who can study Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, right? Yeah. So, Udgītā is an internalizing ritual. That means the person will meditate on the Omkara, and the person will meditate Omkara as Prāṇa, as Aditya, and things like that. So the thing is, that person will have profound spiritual practice, and only a person who can engage in such upasanas can have the inner vision and depth to bless. So, Udgīthopāsanā requires direct connectivity to the gods and a degree of self-purification. In a way, the person should have Adhyātma yoga. That means they should have passed in the yoga to the level that they realize themselves. So, some understanding and direct involvement and connectivity with the Devatās, which are, all these Devatās are aspects of Paramātmā. This is the level of the student. So some simple highlights of the Udgīthopāsanā I will let you know, because there are some very interesting anecdotes in the Udgīthopāsanā. Some of them are interesting. Let's see what it is. In the very beginning of the Udgīthopāsanā, it says, Yadeva vidyaya karoti shraddhaya upanishada tadeva viryavattaram bhavati. So the Omkara can be uttered by anybody. Anybody can say Om, that's fine. But the person who has the knowledge of Brahman, who has the Shraddha and really deep interest in and learning and yearning to realize the truth, when that person sings the Omkara, that he will directly realize, and the effect, and he will make the whole Karma-kāṇḍa or the performance of the yaga fruitful. So Vidya and Avidya lead to different results. Vidya means with full knowledge of what that person is doing. Avidya means does not have full knowledge, only partial knowledge. So what is performed with meditation, faith, and knowledge becomes more powerful and useful and fruitful. Okay. Now, there is another small interesting episode which comes in the Udgīthopāsanā. It's just a small additional information, may not be directly related, but it seems interesting to me, that's all. So, there is it seems that the Devas and the Asuras that were fighting with each other to attain immortality. Devas wanted to attain immortality, and they wanted to say, where will I go and stay, where I can become immortal? They first thought that our sense of smell is the right place. Hide in the nose itself, near the sense of smell, maybe they will become immortal. They thought that it was safe. But the Asuras, knowing the intent of the Devas, went and attacked the nose itself. So what happens is, now nose does not smell only nice smell, but it can smell bad and good smells. So thing is, so nose itself became polluted. Now, Asuras, then what will, Devatās thought, okay, they would go and try to hide in the ice. So when they started hiding in the eye, Chakshu, then what happened? Then the Asuras thought, okay, I am going to attack Chakshu. So the sight got affected, polluted, in the sense that eye can see good things and bad things. It can get information from good and bad activities. That becomes awkward. So it is affected by sin or papa. Similarly, then the Devatās thought, okay, I will go and hide in the ear. They thought that they would be safe. But the Asuras attacked the ear and made the ear incapable of having purity. So the ears can hear good and bad things, truth and untruth. And now we don't understand what is the right thing because we are confused. So even that was not a safe place. Then the Devatās went and hid in the mind of a person. Mind also became affected by Asura's attack. So mind can think of bad and impure things as well as good things. So mind is also affected. So where can I go where there is no sin, where there is no papa? Where will I go hide? That became a big problem to the Devatās. Then you know what they did? They hid in the breath, Mukhya Prāṇa. What is Mukhya Prāṇa? Mukhya Prāṇa is the breath. And the Asuras tried to attack Mukhya Prāṇa. They were unable to attack Mukhya Prāṇa, as if, if you go and hit a lump of clay or mud on a rock, what happens? The lump of mud breaks into pieces, right? So, because rock is hard. Similarly, the Mukhya Prāṇa was unshakable. So the Asuras could not destroy Mukhya Prāṇa or even attack Mukhya Prāṇa. What does this indicate? Prāṇa is pure. It cannot be affected by good or bad, anything like that. It doesn't even care. So controlling Prāṇa becomes important. Once who control Prāṇa, Prāṇa can take his consciousness from here to Paramātmā level. So pranayama helps you realize. This is a beautiful story or a beautiful summary, essence of the story of the episode given in Udgīthopāsanā. This is just a side story, and it was important to me because I'm a student of yoga, and I also trying to write the book written by my grandfather on Yoga Sutra, where pranayama is a one step. What is it? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That is the eight limb for the yogas, 8 limbs of yoga. So pranayama is a very important step. And now I understood that, oh, there is something very powerful in pranayama. It cannot be polluted by anything bad. So the priests have to have capability to bless. Bless means they would have all these realizations. That person should have Pranava-upāsanā. In the Udgīthopāsanā, it talks about Pranava-upāsanā. That is knowledge of Omkara. It's just not, it is in-depth realization of Omkara. In fact, in the yoga, they say pranayama leads to pranava. So all these things are connected in yoga. So the Hotṛ and Udgātṛ, the two superintendents of yaga or yajnas or karma-kāṇḍa, should have a level of Adhyātma yoga realization and not just by hearting. This is, I think, clear. The teacher of the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad has to be an expert in Adhyātma yoga and Upāsanā. So the teacher should be even deeper. So the teacher is deeper person and some knowledge of Adhyātma yoga, the Hotṛ and Udgātṛ will have. These are the students of Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad. This is what my grandfather has identified, and this unique, episodes from Chandogya Upanishad, bringing into the effect that he is not just reciting the hymns, but when the person blesses, actually the fruit will occur for the sacrificer. That's the level of the a teacher or the superintendents of the yajna. So the karma-kāṇḍa is not something to be discarded. Now we don't have a choice. The reason is not many people know what karma-kāṇḍa is. We don't have such experts. Even if there are experts, they are not as realized in Adhyātma yoga, or maybe there may be some hiding somewhere. And those are the people who still continue with it. Okay, so the thing is, I will give you one more episode just as a to strengthen the idea of what is Adhyayana. Adhyayana is often used, this person is doing, rarely some people will say, I will give up my life and work on Vedadhyayana, and he goes to the Veda school and studies Vedas. But what is the Adhyayana, what is the level of Adhyayana during those days? An actual story is said in the episode of Śunaḥśepa in the Aitareya Brahmana of Rigveda. I want to ask you all a question. Am I boring you with all these episodes? Unrelated to, you may think it's not related? What is your feedback?
No, this is very important.
Not at all. Not at all.
This is very important.
Okay. So the thing is, there is a slight, deviation from where we are going, but I want to strengthen this because I came across this story myself. I asked Narasimhan, is there any proof in the Vedas that Vedadhyayana is something deeper than just mental repetition, by hearting and things like that? And today in modern AI, I can store the entire Rigveda into a hard disk or anywhere, right? And if I ask a question to Aitareya, can you show me this mantra? And the AI will give you the mantra. Why should I even have a repetition? Why should I take it into memory? Why should I understand the meaning of these words? I can always look up in a computer. Then Narasimhan told me, why don't you look at Śunaḥśepa's story and you will know what is the value of this, the older method of repetition as well as a deep understanding of the mantras and meditation on these mantras. Okay, so in the Aitareya Brahmana of Rigveda, specifically in book 7, I think, chapters 13 to 18 or the Panchika 33 to 35, depending on the division, this story comes up there. This section occurs in the context of description of the Rajasuya sacrifice. The Rajasuya is olden days, the kings were doing Rajasuya sacrifice. In that context, this comes. The story is also said in other texts like Shankayana Shravata Sutra, Ramayana in the Balakanda, Bhagavata Purana, and other Puranas. But in the Aitareya Brahmana, the core Vedic source is given. Okay. What happens? There was a king named Harishchandra of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Ikshvaku is the same dynasty where Rama was born. In that dynasty, Rama is one of the kings. So this Harishchandra did not have children. So he takes a promise and says to Varuna, "Oh Varuna, bless me with a son, and I will. If you bless me with a son, I will even sacrifice that son to you, Varuna." He is so desperate to get a child, and he asked Varuna for this boon. a son Rohita was born to Harishchandra. Harishchandra wanted to, one day he said that he will give up the son and sacrifice his son to Varuna in an yajna. Then Harishchandra, after seeing the wonderful son Rohita, kept on postponing the sacrifice. He never really did the sacrifice. Eventually, what happened was Rohita had fled to the forest. Maybe he knew that he was going to be sacrificed anyway. He ran away to the forest or something. Harishchandra says, okay, I'm going to get a son. All I told that I will sacrifice a son. I didn't say it was only Rohita. I may sacrifice some other son. So what he will get an adopted son. He will pay some money to an old, impoverished, very poor sage called Ajigartha. And Udgīthopāsanā says, look, you have 3 children. The middle son, Śunaḥśepa, is okay. You still will be left with 2 children. I don't have any son. Please give me Śunaḥśepa as the son. I will take care of him. Don't worry. Ajigartha said, okay, I'm okay. And then Harishchandra asked, we need a superintendent to do the yajna properly. Ajigartha, can you come and do the yajna yourself, where you will see and oversee the sacrifice, where your own son Śunaḥśepa will be offered to Varuna in a yaga. And Ajigartha says, if you give me more money, I am willing to be the superintendent of that sacrifice. Yajamana, some Udgātṛ, Hotṛ or something, I will be there. Then Ajigartha comes with his son, and everybody tie up the Śunaḥśepa into a Upar Stamba, sacrificial post, right? And they tie up with lots of, Varuna, the pashas, the ropes, thick ropes, so that he doesn't run away, right? And why do they tie up? You may say, oh, just go and kill him. No, not like that. The yajna has to be done properly. There should be 4 priests. There should be mantras. There should be preparation of the yaga. They should see the muhurta, when, what, and all those things. So finally, everybody is there. So he had to be tied to the sacrificial post. In desperation, Śunaḥśepa realizes he is going to be killed. And whatever may be, Śunaḥśepa starts remembering his gurus or something. Vishwamitra also is one of his probably gurus or something. So in the Aitareya Brahmana, he does not really remember any guru. He directly starts praying honestly, with great interest, and also in a desperate situation. So what he first starts the hymns from the Rigveda, he praises Lord Prajapati, the creator, Brahma. Then he praises Agni, the fire god. Then he invokes mantras of the Savitr, the sun god. Then he also invokes the mantras of Varuna, to whom he was going to be sacrificed in a few minutes. Then he invokes Indra, the Ashwins, the Ushas, all these Devatās. He sincerely prays through the hymns of Rigveda. What happens? When he starts a particular deity, when he praises Varuna, the bonds, the shackles with which he is tied up to the post, loosen up. Then he final hymn on the Ushas, he says, and all the fetters fall away and he is not bound. The gods intervene and says that this Śunaḥśepa should not be killed. And with praise, protect the Śunaḥśepa. So what is the end of story? Śunaḥśepa had the power of the hymns, not just remembrance of words and intonations and even the meaning, but beyond it, he had connected with the gods. He had the deep yogic realization. That is why he was saved from death. So there was actual value of these hymns. Finally, what happened is a different question. His father, Ajigartha, was so messed up and so angry that Śunaḥśepa ran away from this yajna without being sacrificed. And he had promised Harishchandra that his son would be sacrificed. So he disowned Śunaḥśepa and said, get lost. Poda, he sent him out. Then what happened? Sage Vishwamitra was watching. He said, Śunaḥśepa, I want people like you. Be my son. He adopted him as his son and he became Devarata, a great, God-given son to Vishwamitra. So this is the power of hymns said in the Śunaḥśepa episode of the Vedas. Okay. Now, I want to deviate a little bit. I'm not trying to find fault with any system of thought, but the modern world has changed. Several systems of thought do not think Karma-kāṇḍa is important. Karma-kāṇḍa, what is the point of Karma-kāṇḍa? Okay, because Karma-kāṇḍa will only give you with results of yajnas, which could probably like getting a son or getting rain or getting heaven or swarga or something like that. Those kind of fruit should be given up, and those kinds of these are all involved in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad. It tries to understand what is the value of Karma-kāṇḍa and Jnana-kāṇḍa. So we are not going away from the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad view here, right? So what is the modern view? Modern view, many systems of late are giving up Karma-kāṇḍa and say even Vedadhyayana is very, very difficult. One might give up Vedadhyayana or study of the Vedas. Why? I'm just giving you specifically because I did hear Jagadguru Kripalu Maharaja's lectures on this subject, and he specifically mentions a particular episode of Vritrasura yajna done by Indra. In that yajna there is a mistake. Indra Shatru Vardasva or something is there. That Shatru word has to be uttered properly with the type of intonation. Because that intonation was not given, the yajna will give a wrong result, where Indra wanted to kill Vritra. Instead of that, because of the yajna, Vritra became more and more powerful. So it had a wrong effect, unintended effect of strengthening the enemy. That was not the purpose of the yajna for Indra. So giving this example, Jagadguru Kripal Maharaj says, look, Vedas are difficult nowadays. We do mistakes. We don't have the right way to sing and understand the Vedas properly. We may do mistakes. If we do mistakes, that becomes a severe offense. We may go to Naraka for that. Why do you want to add more karmas? Why do you want to do this mistake? Give up all Vaidika activities. Vaidika dharma, give up. Just go with simple prayers, bhajans, kirtanas. Completely dedicate your life to Krishna. Pray, sing to Krishna, Radha Krishna, anybody, Lakshmi Krishna, or any of these deities whom you are praying to. Enough of these Vaidika rituals where small mistakes can cost you your life and cost you your next life also. What is the point? So, Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti, they separate out two types of Bhakti. In the Raganuga Bhakti, you don't have to worry about the Vaidika rituals. In fact, this is so serious. See what has happened. Many other systems, including some systems like even Swaminarayana Samstha. And Swaminarayana Samstha itself, they don't use Vaidika mantras. They use Purana mantras or Itihasa Purana mantras in any of the activities, even like marriage, or the secretariat, or any particular activity, they use Purana mantras. They don't use Vaidika mantras because they say that, look, the life has changed. Our India has gone through so many occupations by different foreign powers. We have lost the idea of the Vedas. We don't want to do the mantras like the Yajna Yagadis, the way it has been said. So what is happening is the modern Vaidika families, that means, a lot of people, they are born in the Vaidika families, right? And where they were given a proper, sacred thread when they were like the men, when they were young children, like 10-year, 8-year, or 10 or 12-year-old, they get this sacred thread. They are asked to do Sandhya Vandana every day without fail 3 times. They are asked to do Samhita Dana before marriage, and they are asked to do, Pitru Karyas. That is after their, so one of their parents pass away, or at least one of the parents pass away, they have to do Pitru Karyas, like the Tarpana and yearly ceremonies and all those things. So they are born to these families. Even those people who are born to these families tend to, first of all, their parents would have not given them enough information, or their grandparents. Everybody now is not in the original Agraharam type of life, right? Where there were small centers where lots of priests were there, everybody was helping each other, they could do a lot of Vedic sacrifices and things like that. Now such practices have gone. People are going to, they got a job and their parents itself are settled in Mumbai or somewhere in Kashmir or somewhere. There is no such help. Some people even go outside somewhere. They're born in different countries. They have no connection with this Yajna Yagadi people, priests and things like that. What will they do? They give up. So everybody, it is better, because in the Kali Yuga, this is the JKP view and several people, Kali Yuga, you cannot follow Vedika Marga. Just give up all of them. Say Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Krishna will take care of you. So even the Pitrakaryas, Tarpana, Girpana, and don't do it. Say Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Harinama is enough. Nama is so powerful that everything, all the Pitris will be happy by just Nama Sankirtana. Right? Now comes the very good question. See, this is an important point. That's why I'm going through. Am I insulting anyone? Or are you affected by my kind of view here? My type of questioning and my type of teaching here? Are you affected?
No.
I want others also to think about this. Am I hurting you by saying all these things? Think about it. You may not feel it right away. Someday you may be very hurt by my way of looking at things. Okay. I have thought about this for a long time. This is not today. I'm 67 years old. I knew this when I was 45 years old, when I was listening to JKP lectures. I have listened to hundreds of his lectures, even though I don't understand Hindi very well. And my wife is an expert in Hindi, so she used to tell me details about what he is really saying. So I did understand the very essence. I don't think I mistook his lectures. So what has happened is, many people are giving up daily karmas, including Sandhya Vandana. This is not limited to many, this one. There is also one other, revolution, ideology within the Sri Vaishnavas. Some portions think that just going to a temple, or if I am in a temple, I can even give up Sandhya Vandana. Because I'm near the God anyway. I'm already seeing his beautiful form in the Archamurti. I'm actually doing prayers in the temple. Why should I do Sandhya Vandana? Daily duties. Give up. Some people may think like that. Many people are thinking like that. This is the modern view. But I am asking a simple question to everybody. I, in particular, and there are some people whom I know, they were not born in families where they did not have any background. When I got my sacred thread, the ceremony was done over 4 days. There were 20 priests who came to my home. They made sure I do every yajna, every samhita dana, every mantra, everything properly. What should I do? Give up all this? Throw away my sacred thread, this thread also somewhere, and hang it up in the, in a hook or something? What should I do? Should I give up and go to, I just do simple kirtanas and go to temple and forget everything? This is a strange problem. If people don't have the background, they will say give up. Shastra says, aharaha sandhyam kurvita. If you're born in a different community, in a different race, religion, location, whatever, we can, then that is no problem. Whatever Jagadguru Kripalu Maharaj said is fine, because they are not able to do this, and they are not intended. There is no restriction on them. But if you are born into these families and you've already gone through this kind of many people born into these families themselves, they don't perform any these rituals. Even Traivaranikas, for example, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, many people, they don't even have a thread ceremony. What will they do? They don't have any idea. They will continue, right? So we do understand that Sankirtana is very valuable. I am not devaluing the power of name of Lord Krishna. No, I'm not devaluing. But there are other statements which says that Madbhaktopi name priyaha, what do you call whoever gives up the Shastra Vidhi, even in the Bhagavad Gītā, Shastra Vidhi Mutsujya, if you give up the methodology given in the Shastras, that is not correct. Even in the Bhagavad Gītā it is said. There are other things, other statements, which says even though he is a bhakta, if he gives up the methodology given to him, Shruti Smritis Mamai Vajñam Yastam Ullangyati Shruti Ajña Chedi Mama Drohi Madbhaktopi Name Priyaha. This is there. Who gives up the Shruti Smriti? They are my Ajña, Krishna's Ajña, are the declarations, his commands. If you go against these commands, and if you even if you are Madbhaktopi Name Priyaha, even if you are my bhakta, I am not interested in you, I don't like you. This is Krishna's words in some Purana or somewhere. I will figure out where it is. So, but they ignore it. They said that this also doesn't matter. Today, Vaidika karmas cannot be done, so give up. This is general rule. I don't have the intention, guts to go away from the Shastras. And like me, there are some people. So whoever are born in certain, so that means that you should throw away Bhagavad Gītā, all the Upanishads and Brahma Sutras, and even the Vedas. Pack it up and burn it up. Have a bonfire. Why not? They're useless. If you read Īśāvāsya, one mistake in the world will pack you to hell. So why should I read? Throw Īśāvāsya, all the Upanishads, everything, throw and burn it. Don't you think that is a possibility? This is no good. Just studying Bhagavatam is not enough. It is like having the fruit. The fruit will perish moment it is cut off from the tree. The tree is the Upanishads and Vedas and Brahma Sutras and everything. You cannot disconnect. You should read it in connection with all these things. So that is not acceptable to me. But if it's acceptable to others, enjoy. Follow what you want. Just wanted to say, hope I am making a point and not trying to hurt anyone. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions, comments?
Just one thing. Whenever, so even if there are some mistakes, those are committed during these any of these homas or havanas or whatever karma that is being done, in those cases that aparadha kshamapana is always there. So
yes, Prayaschitta homa is there. Prayaschitta homa, in every yajna there is a Prayaschitta homa. And mantrahinam at the end, mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam Hotṛ Advitantu maya deva paripurnam tadastute prayaschitan yasheshani tapakarmatmakani vai yani tesham asheshanam Shri Krishna anusmaranam param. Even then Krishna is remembered there as an expiation. But what you do. There may be
so that means that we can do the karmas.
Yeah. See, you know one thing, when you perfect, if you suppose you do a program in computers, you fail to do it right. What will you do? You correct it. If you do whatever job you do, if you do a surgery one day, you are a doctor, You make a mistake, you correct it. So you should be able to correct what you're doing. God is there, He will help you. Like how the little kids will start, they won't say every mantra properly when they are 1.5 years old. They will have childish kind of pronunciation. God knows that you're doing a mistake, but God will help. So going against the Shastras is not permitted. It's not at all acceptable, and that doesn't seem to be right at all. I'm not devaluing bhakti, going to temples, doing so many good things at temples. I fully appreciate it. I like Bhagavatam, by the way. I have studied the entire 18 chapters of Bhagavatam. So thing is, all these things, even our own Alvars, Nammalvar and all, they said bhakti is everything. But don't go against the dictates of the Vedanta. That's not acceptable. And devaluing Karma-kāṇḍa is not acceptable. Karma-kāṇḍa slowly matures into Jnana-kāṇḍa. There is no need to discard Karma-kāṇḍa altogether. That is a different argument. There is Advaita, Vishtadvaita and all, they have different views. That is a different issue. Okay.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. I will, still already 7:45 today. What I will do is, I think I will, it's 8:45, I'm sorry, 8:48. Let us start the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad from the very first verse from the next class. Sorry, I could not do the yesterday's class. I'm still a little tired. I'm coming back to normal. I'm not perfectly all right. So it is taking time for me to get back to full speed. Okay, just a simple, was this class useful, or do you think that I just vented my hatred or my problems to you all?
No, it was useful.
The point of view.
It was useful.
Insightful.
We don't think that you talked unnecessarily.
Okay. अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः, अस्मत् परम गुरुभ्यो नमः, अस्मत् सर्व गुरुभ्यो नमः, श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः, श्री लक्ष्मी सर्व परब्रह्मणे नमः, जय श्री लक्ष्मी हाय वदन परब्रह्मणे नमः, सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
Namaskar.